Hi, everybody. I'm Loren Molloy, and welcome to Dive In with my host, Jess. Jess, say hi,
Hi, how are
everybody.
you? Hello.
How are you all doing out there in the world today? I hope you're doing A-OK. We're in November now, and it doesn't feel like November because we just finished Halloween. So, the last time you and I talked, we were talking about all the sorts of stuff that we do normally on Halloween versus what we were planning on doing. And I figured tonight we could talk about what actually happened for us on Halloween and move on from there because I've got a few other topics. But before we start, please, if you're watching this video, make sure you're sharing it around so that everybody else can watch it with you. Yes, that's right. We need you to share it to all your groups, to your friends, to your pages. And then please make sure that you go on to this video on the Delve In Talk Show page and comment, because that's the only way we'll get to see your comments and questions. Comments and questions that pop up on the screen, we'll get to answer and be able to have you join in with us that way. So please, please, please make sure that you like the page Delve In Talk Show, as well as share it around, because we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about and do, and I want you to be a part of it tonight and every night. So Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., Delve In Talk Show with me, Loren, and our other host, Jess. Jess with the most, yes. She makes amazing different kinds of cakes with a Sweet Discovery Bakery. She's made our face cake for our movie Yield. It was so realistic, people were actually reporting it to Facebook thinking it was real. Okay, so that's how good she is. And it's just one of the things she does. You know what I'm saying? I am a director, producer, actress, as well as an author and more. I'm actually ordained and a Reiki healer as well. And the reason I bring up the ordained part is, speaking of Halloween, I did it. Yes, that's right. We were
You looked
talking
really
about it.
good. I loved the makeup. Came out great.
Oh, thank you so much. I was so nervous. To explain what I'm talking about, guys, on Halloween, because I'm ordained, I had a couple that I'm really good friends with that asked me to do their wedding. And I've never done a wedding in costume before. And they asked me to be the nun from The Conjuring and marry them on Halloween under the full moon as the Conjuring nun. So I'm so glad people started posting pictures and videos, because I was like, oh my God, I needed to see from somebody else's point of view.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Yes. It was so
I
good.
almost didn't recognize you because you had the Hobbit on so tight. I was like,
Right? Like,
oh my God. Yeah. It was good.
oh, it was so much fun. And it's funny, there's a video of me on my Loren Molloy page on Facebook. You can find it, Loren Molloy, director, producer, author. Look those words up and you'll find my page. Make sure you like and follow it. But there's a video I made of me trying to get the habit on. I had to use a little like rubber band just to keep it tight. And then like me putting all the makeup on. And it was funny because I almost started crying thinking it didn't look good enough. I was so worried about doing this good enough job because it's for somebody's wedding. It's not just a regular Halloween. Like, I'm marrying them. If they're happy with how I look, that's a hinder on their day in a way. You know, I don't want their memory to be that. So I pulled out of my driveway, and my neighbors across the street were getting stuff out of the car, and I wasn't thinking about it. So I was like, have a nice day. And they were like, oh, it's Loren. Okay. But it went so well. So you guys could definitely check out pictures and stuff between, you know, my official page and everybody that's posted. So it was really kind of exciting and fun. And I kept forgetting I had the makeup on, which
I
was
do
a
that
lot.
with the contacts, the crazy contacts, because I need them for prescription. So
Right.
I always
Yeah.
forget. And people are like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about it.
I was talking with one person, and every time I made my eyes really big, it like totally freaked people out, which was so great. So,
Did
but
you put contacts in?
no, I can't do contacts. My eyes eat.
Oh. Oh,
So
shoot. I forgot. You told me about that.
oh yeah, you know, it's okay. It's one of those, like, most people don't realize it's a possibility.
I never heard of that. It's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Oh my
For
God,
them
it's
to be
painful.
stuck behind your eye. Just keep getting stuck.
And my eye
That's
swelled
like
shut.
actually like a huge fear of mine. And I've been wearing them all my life. I never once thought that that was even a possibility until you told me.
Yeah, and it's
That's a
funny because
condition? Or
I
is it just
mean,
like the way your eyes shaped?
I don't know. I don't know how many. Hey guys, if you're watching this show, let me know. Do you eat contact lenses? Meaning, do your eyes just swallow them whole? When I was in high school, I really wanted purple eyes, and everybody was having contacts in and stuff. So I finally sneaked off to the store, you know, and I didn't want my mom to know, and I got punished, universally speaking, because like I put this
Oh,
purple contact in my eye, and my eye immediately welded shut, and there was no freaking way to get it open at all. To the point where I'm like freaking out and screaming for my mom. She tries, can't do anything. We had to go to like a doctor to get it out of my fucking eye. I missed a bunch of days of school, and not like happily yay, like, oh, I'm gonna be like this for life. Like, it was terrifying. And you don't think about it being something that would be terrifying until all of a sudden your eye is like, game's over, bitch. You're like, no, I need this. No, come back. Like,
did it hurt, or it just was
oh.
like it was just like the muscle was contracting?
Well, think about it. You get an eyelash in your eye. How pleasant is that feeling?
Oh,
You get a piece of grit in your
because
eye.
I mean
You
they're
know?
designed not to scratch.
But when it
So
gets
it's
all
just
the way in
weird.
the back, actually, I just saw an
Uh-huh.
article on Facebook where a doctor removed like 23 different contacts out of some woman's eye because it just kept getting eaten. I don't know. It was a whole picture of like different levels of like how long it was back there. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That face had to be beautifully attractive. Anyway. But that's why, you know, when the couple asked, by the way, congratulations again to Mr. and Mrs. Aiello. Ooh, I love you guys. They're the sweetest couple, and they are genuinely pure
Congrats.
true love. That is, they give me hope
Aw.
that true love can exist, because I wouldn't have
Oh.
done their wedding otherwise. I don't do it willy-nilly. We know that. I only do it if I think that I see true love and true connection in a couple. Otherwise, you know, I go, sorry, I'll
Well, you know
refer
what?
you to
Yeah, if
people.
that's why you're in the biz, you know, you
Yeah.
want to unite people that are truly in love, and if you get to choose, then use
Yeah.
it that way.
And it's funny because like it was such a cool moment, and people who were coming up to me saying how great a job I did. And you and a bunch of people know how nervous I was to do a good job. Like once it was over, I was like, oh wow, I missed October completely. Like between filming
Oh,
for
you
the
were so
movie.
nervous about.
Yeah. So it was so funny. But I was so
I
glad.
ended up doing something really cool. Not on Halloween, but on the 30th, on Friday.
Oh yeah.
There's a place called The Space in Freehold, New Jersey, and it's like an event hall, I guess you could
Okay.
say. It's just a large room with a stage, and one of my girlfriends does aerial yoga, and
Oh
she has
yeah. Okay.
a troupe of friends that do sort of like circus type acts.
Oh
It
cool.
it was like a 90s rave, but instead of having glow sticks, everybody had like light up hula hoops, and
Oh
there was like
nice.
drapery from the ceiling, and people were doing like the aerial yoga from the drapery, and there was like a DJ with the
Oh,
crazy mask on and all these lights. It was so cool.
that
So
sounds
anyway,
amazing.
she asked me to vent like my desserts. So
Ooh,
I just
cool.
made a whole bunch of desserts, bagged them up. I mean, everybody was there to drink and have a good time. So
I saw your
yeah.
desserts. They were amazing. I did Homer Simpson drill face at every picture. I was like, oh, yeah,
Oh my
totally.
God. And they were so good, man. I've been out of the game like for too long. I feel like it's only been like
Short period of
three
time, but
months.
still, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like getting used to the new place and
Yeah.
unpacking everything took so long. But
But
yeah,
you're back.
I'm up and running now. Yeah, and everything's good.
And you and I are
Um,
definitely going to figure out some way of doing like a cooking segment so people can
yeah,
like
I would love that.
see all the amazing stuff. Because, like, you know, I know you make some damn good stuff. I had it in my mouth.
Yeah,
It tastes real good.
I know. I'm just really excited because all I'll do is like scroll on Facebook on my free time or Instagram and just watch new tutorials on how to do or people just frosting cakes. I just find it fascinating. So that would probably be a good thing. I'm sure people would tune in to watch it. I
Mhm.
mean,
Oh, yeah,
it
totally.
is my passion. That's why I enjoy it. But I love watching how cool, creating something is.
Right. Plus, I get to watch too, because very often it's just going to be me going, what did you just add in there? Maybe not like that, but that's how I think of it. It's fun. I like making weird faces like that. Uh,
We'll just have a close up of your face. You have to have like a close up right in the corner. Like, even closer.
I know, I'm not getting that close. I'm not insulting everybody to getting that close. They'll be like, oh God, I just ate.
No.
No. So guys, if you're watching the show, please comment in the comment section. I want to know what you did for Halloween, what you watched, if you dressed up, what you dressed up as. Please, please, please. I didn't get to enjoy much of it because I was working, so I didn't get to do like lots of parties and see all costumes and stuff like that. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I want to know what you did too, and that's why we're doing the show. So delve in with us. Make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you comment. I want to hear it, and then I'm going to pop it up on the screen for everybody to see it. Oh yeah, I made it rhyme kind of. Anyway.
So she's a rapper too. I don't know if she told you. No,
I wrap lots of gifts. It's wonderful. You just need some tape. See what
I
did there?
That's a good one.
Didn't
Speaking of wrapping gifts.
Yeah, girl.
I am so already have all of my Christmas crap out. I went to the storage unit. I swapped everything out for Christmas. I don't do I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's cool, but like you have fall decorations out in like September. I start early with decorations. So I get bored of it. Once Halloween's over, it's like I don't need to look at dead leaves on my door. So I'm just gonna throw up something that brings me cheer. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Christmas cheer.
That's funny.
And guys, hey, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows, but I've been sending away for Christmas gifts already, and major delays. I don't know if like a new wave hit of COVID or whatever, but everything was fine. And then all of a sudden the last week, major delays. So if you are trying to get some things in for the holiday, I do it now because it might take weeks. Yeah.
If you can. And if you can buy from small businesses, obviously.
Yes.
I have movies and books. Let me know. I have horror books. I have horror movies. Shameless plug. And she has food you can buy. See that? Good stuff. Anyway.
Cookies, cakes,
galore.
Anything.
What happened?
My foot.
You hit it?
Just being fat. I'm trying to relax here and kicking everything over.
By the way, for those who don't know and just tuned in, I'm a medical marijuana patient. I have fibromyalgia. I had cancer at one point. I have epilepsy. I have a lot of other stuff that's literally on the books. So I'm a legal card carrying member, and I got a brand new goal for my birthday.
That. Oh my God, it's so cool.
Yo, it glows. There's no way that I tried to take pictures and video. It doesn't show up on any camera. Otherwise I would have done it for you guys.
I saw the video of it. I was like, wasn't sure if that you were sharing that from like a couple years ago or if it was new.
Brand new. It's my birthday present to myself.
Nice.
And I'm going to use it in the devil's lettuce, and I put it on the devil's lettuce page. So that's like my happy Halloween. And it's funny because Amazon had it as Devil Bowl. So I was like, fuck it, I'm getting it. That's cool.
So wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean
to
interrupt you. I saw a crazy picture you posted of Al smoking out of the thing. And there's like a cloud. Is my face behind it? And like there's this weird, what is that?
That we were smoking in a graveyard.
I know, but that's was
what
like
I'm saying.
You couldn't even see through it.
Okay, guys.
Like it wasn't smoke.
Everybody who's watching this, before we go on, hold on. I'm not gonna put the picture up. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna put the link so everybody can check it out and tell us what they think it is. Now, on the Devil's Lettuce movie that I am director and producer and screenwriter of, Jess and her boyfriend, Al, are both acting in the movie, and the post she's talking about is on the Devil's Lettuce Facebook page. There it is, popped it up on the screen. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. So make sure you go to the Devil's Lettuce. You'll see the link in the comment section. Click it. You'll look for the post. It is a man, his name's Al, with a skull that he's smoking out of, and there's a cloud of smoke. Look at the cloud of smoke. Tell us what in the comment section, whether it's now or later. I'll be looking for it and talking about it in future reference as well. I'm going to leave it up on the screen for a few seconds. That moment is amazing because there's several other pictures of him smoking out of this human skull, and none of them have that cloud of smoke the way it is. So it was one of those paranormal captures, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we were in a graveyard that totally was active in the first place because there was a bunch of stuff that was happening while we were filming that we couldn't catch, but a bunch of us could see and catch. You know what I mean? Like, there was no way I could be like, what was that? And catch it in time because it was so dark and etc. But we also had a very old cemetery right behind the cemetery we were filming at, remember? Like, literally,
that was blocked off. We couldn't go in that one, right?
Right. There was a huge, like, cobblestone wall that we would have to climb over, like a, revolution kind of thought, you'd see those in that kind of time period. So I believe the cemetery right behind it has not been consecrated in so long that it's a little more active than we were prepared for. We definitely had stuff happen in that graveyard for sure. And if I show it, one of the other things I do.
I just watched that movie.
Did you?
What the frick is it? Forget it.
I love the song.
The movie, Nagachamba. What is it?
Oh, this is the white sage I always use.
Oh, okay. What the hell? They're in high school. They're going to a senior party.
I don't remember anymore.
Forget it.
Anyway, you'll remember. But while you remember, I'll say one of the reasons I'm talking about the sage, incense, smoke, things like that. Hold on. All right, so let's see if you could see the smoke rising. See it? Can you see it on the camera?
Not really.
See if I move it closer.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
All right, so one of the things they teach, and you guys could look it up on Google and things like that, is depending on which way the smoke goes, it has different meanings. Right now I'm holding it, so please don't expect to see anything. I'm literally jostling it, trying to keep it near the screen. But if you stare at the smoke for a certain amount of time, I'm trying to see if you could actually see it. There we go. You can actually see messages and images and things in smoke. That's certain cultures and certain beliefs. If you look it up, you'll see that you could get messages and all sorts of stuff in the smoke because it's an easy, pliable energy source to utilize. Kind of like the knocking thing, once for no, two for yes. It's a simple way for it to interact, where smoke is another simple way to interact. So for me, very often, and some other spiritual workers, they will use smoke to interact. So I'll sit there and I'll have incense burning while I'm meditating and thinking on a question, and I'll start seeing certain words pop up in the smoke, things like that. So for me, I always take pictures when people are smoking and like that kind of thing, because how often things are caught in that. I guess because it's kind of like, think about it, it's like rolling around in a bunch of dust. You're going to see it, right? So like it's an easy, more pliable way to push through the veil so you could see something, because most people don't realize that our eyes, ears, all our senses are not the full range of spectrum. That's why we have UV light. The reason we need UV light is because our eyes can't see it naturally, right? So that by itself explains there's an extra level that we're not able to see that's already there. We just don't always have enough technology to get to the same levels or frequencies or planes, etc. Which is why like UV light is such a great example of us not being able to see and touch as is without something helping us. So in this case, the smoke is a way for them to connect and have us be able to see messages. Like if you look up incense smoke and it's, it'll explain, like if it's going in one direction, it means one kind of thing, that way, this way, that, whatever. So anytime you guys see somebody smoking anything, it's not about judgment. It's about taking pictures to see if you see anything in the smoke, especially if you're going to do something in a wide open space like a cemetery. I do not recommend it in places that are like abandoned buildings, because now you've gotten too much smoke trapped in a building, and then any level you're on, you could think, oh, a ghost spirit walked by, but it could be the smoke from a different level wafting through. So I always say, if you're going to do like a big open space, or you're not trying to get evidence of that nature, it's a great way to communicate and see and feel at a different level than you might not normally try, without worrying about, oh, no, scary stuff, So, but that's why I love that picture of Al. He's holding a skull, guys, and there's smoke in the air. We're in the middle of a graveyard at late night. There was a full moon, I think, at that time too. I don't remember because it was 2 different months apart, but I think it once again, us and full moons. And so there's definitely what I think is some very interesting stuff in that smoke. So
Yes.
right, such a great picture.
So,
I'm so glad somebody took
yeah,
it.
I know. I couldn't tell like who was in the back. I thought it was somebody's face in the background, and then there was a mass in front of it. Ooh, it's so unusual. And anyway, so that movie I'm thinking of, Jonah Hill's in it. What the hell is it called?
Oh crap! I fucked up the link. I knew I messed it up. All right, guys, hold on one second. I messed it up. No wonder you can't see it.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot the S in the middle.
The Devils.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the double L there.
Yeah, my bad, guys. I just had somebody poke me, be like, hey, that's the wrong thing. And I was like, that's why I looked at it when I was like loading it. I was like, ah. But what most people don't realize is when you're moderating it or handling all the aspects of it, the screen is much smaller. So when you're typing it in, the box is really tiny. You can't scroll it closer. So like you're like trying not to get super close while you're reading something. Anyway, that's the new one because there's a freaking S in it. The Devil's Lettuce movie. Because if you just look up the Devil's Lettuce, you get lots of pages that have nothing to do with our movie. And then you'll be like, the hell is this chick talking about? She's lying. I'm not lying. I forgot the S. Leave the S off for savings, but in this case, put it back on so you get to the page.
You crazy girl.
I am, but it's natural, which is scarier.
Oh, no, it's all right. I think I'm coming to terms with me being, a little, I don't know. When you get older, man, your hormones just start going nuts. And you start questioning your existence. You're like, my whole life was a lie, I think. I lied to myself every morning.
Like hormones or getting older per se. It's more we get fed that we have to live a certain way, a certain life, the yellow brick road of life. And if you don't do it, there's catastrophe. And then all of a sudden, you're with somebody who is never great for you. You have a life that you did because of others, and you're miserable going, wait, I did everything in my life to please a bunch of people that aren't going to be in this meat suit. That's happens to every single person. So we kind of bash ourselves going, oh my God. But instead, what the real truth is, as a society, we have to start changing this shit where small children hear, you finish high school, then you go to college, then you get married, then you have kids, then you live happily ever after. See how annoyed I sound? I can't do it any other way because I was a small child going, but you're miserable and you're telling me this. Because I, as a child, could tell who was actually miserable and who wasn't. So I'd watch adults being like, and then you get married and live happily ever after. And I'm looking at them like, you're fucking miserable. So all you want me to do is fall into the same scapegoat society as you have. No, that's why I haven't been married yet. I missed a bunch of the hurdles in a way that people fell over because they were taught to do that because most people, have a certain different way of living. Like for me, I don't wish my life on anybody. Being a kid in the hospital so often and, getting super sick and almost dying and being told that you're not going to be making it to another birthday and all this stuff, it changes your perspective on everything. So it's not like, oh, I'm superior. It was, I literally would wake up and be like, that kid I made friends with yesterday is now gone. And, oh, she's not coming back because she died and I'm alive at 6. That's not cool. But that changes how you see stuff. So life for me is a different kind of way of seeing than most people. I was like, I'm going to get married and be miserable. I have to work on this. I don't think that's going to work for me. I have to do that job that you told me will make you respect me, but I'm doing this job and you don't respect me and you still hate me and I hate myself. I got to change this. So at a certain point, we all do that. And yet we don't talk about it. So we feel like ashamed that we didn't figure it out the first time, even though we got cheat sheets that were written wrong. They fucked up our cheat sheet and then are blaming ourselves. They're like, you have to do A, B, C, and D. But guess what? We lied and said A, B, and C, and D are great choices. We knew they weren't, but we wanted you to be in the same fucking boat as us. Nope. That's why we're all starting to talk now, and silence isn't gold and it's deadly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah. I kind of went and did my own thing. I got my education and everything. But when I did my own thing, I kind of feel alone. There aren't a lot of people that, are right by my side. But it just seems like you got more people that, kind of just blend in with the crowd and do what everybody else is doing, they seem like they have a lot more support. They might be miserable, but they might feel like because they're doing the right thing according to society, that maybe that makes them happy, But I feel like, unfortunately, our parents, they're baby boomers. They that was like ingrained in them, stay home, have a family, get a job, and then make your money. And then when you make your money, you'll retire, and then you'll be able to enjoy your life. It's like, it's just crazy.
But it
and
also,
still to this day, it's still to this day, even though, their way of life is proven failure to them, like corporate just kicking them out on their ass after they dedicated 30 years, but because someone, brighter and younger came in that'll get less money or ask for less money, kick them to the curb. But they still, like, even though it happened to them, they still are teaching that way, and it just doesn't make any sense. But I feel alone, because I went and did my own thing.
I do too. I always do. That's why I wanted to start the show with you.
Yeah, it's really something.
That's why suicide rate is so high. That's why suicide rate is so high. So many of us feel so alone, not realizing it's all of us. We just feel disconnected because we got plopped down in a group of sheeple, as I put it, that want you to join the herd that they're in, so that nobody has to admit they ever did anything wrong or that anything's broken. Yeah, before the Depression days, it was fine, and that theory of, and then you retire and live happily ever. Maybe it was possible then, but like, part of the problem is we're not adjusting and evolving in our thoughts and the way we're interacting in a lot of cases, so that we're still spewing the same stuff to younger generations and then being surprised when all these new parameters and variables aren't giving the same results as it did for them. Like, a hot dog cost 10 cents. And yet they were making 37 cents total, where, here you got all sorts of extra stuff, and you might have got more money and blah, blah, blah. You still got more stuff upon more stuff and whatever else. Nobody's going, okay, they're both different and both the same because they're both got issues at their time period. We're not adapting and going, wait, you don't have to be married and still be happy. You don't have to do that. Like, and I think that's why it's kind of good that we are where we are with everything, because think about 47 years ago. I picked a random number, but like 47 years ago, there's no way I could say silence isn't gold and it's deadly and be allowed to not be in like an institution for women, because I'd be gone forever. They'd be like, she's crazy. I mean, one of the things back in the day, and going back, over 100 years, was like, if women read books, then she was literally insane. If she had PMS, then she was insane. Like, men could throw women into insane asylums anytime they want. I mean, Baker's Act in Florida, you still can, which is unfortunate in some cases. But so we have come much further, even if we're still in a disgruntled state. It's just unfortunate that, like, we're not allowing our future generations to, like, adapt to the new situations, if that makes sense.
I mean, and they're kind of making it really difficult to also live on your own. We need two incomes to friggin' live right now. So I feel like they're trying to push all that shit that we were trying to evolve from. They're trying to make it so we kind of have to now be with somebody to make a life comfortable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, comfortable living. That's why we got out of Jersey, because it was just way too much. Like, there's no way you could be a single woman making, not working 3 jobs and living on your own there.
Oh, same thing with Long Island. That's one of the reasons I'm working on getting out. I mean, I love the family members and friends that I have here, but I have friends and family all over the world at this point. And like, okay, so let's see how everybody feels about this. A studio apartment, which means you live in a basement with bugs that's probably not finished, with a landlord that might be a drug dealer, you're not sure, but you definitely don't want to come to your door because he's going to solicit you, is probably going to be $900 to over $1,000 somewhere in Long Island. You want a 1 bedroom? you're talking at least $1,400. You're not even talking, and these is with, without the utilities and etc. that you need to live. Money is not so amazing on Long Island that it covers where you're going, oh my God, wow. So people are leaving in droves at this point. There are houses for sale all over the place, and areas are falling further and further downhill because they're great to scoop up by the state to put halfway houses. On my road, there's 3 halfway houses. One is for pedophiles, one is for rapists, and one is for criminally insane that don't have to be in a prison anymore. So, and they all live near kids because it's still allowed. So that's just like, and
is that state of New York law?
It's all over the place, baby. People just don't talk about these laws because they don't understand how it works. So everywhere you are, there's plenty of halfway houses. They don't have to tell you. Pedophiles have to do certain rules depending on the states, but those laws keep changing. And people aren't paying attention. So I think in most states now there's certain laws, like if you're transgender and you're 10, it's not pedophilia, it's consensual. Like there's a lot of laws that have been thrown all over the place that people are really, really upset about. And I don't know how much of that has changed again, which is why I'm not trying to say for sure, because things just keep changing. They keep amending bills. So unless you have one of those where you get alerts and the updated bills like I do, it's really hard to keep track of all little, if they updated it has to be a 9, not 10, or, this or that. So there's a lot of sickness going on. There's a lot of problems and people aren't really paying attention because there's so many other problems going on. So it's understandable. But, when housing for one person, and this, in studios, apartments, they on Long Island very often, and probably everywhere else, but it'll say for one person only. Okay. You rock $1,000 without water, electric, food, gas, anything as one person. Fine. Okay. Some people can, they got amazing jobs. Great. But you compare that to somewhere else, right? Like my friend, he lives, is it Virginia? He keeps moving. It might be Tennessee. No matter where he moves, I keep telling him what a studio price is, and I'll show him the penny saver. It's look, $900 might have, roaches, rats, and a landlord that wants it, in sex. And he goes, oh, 1 bedroom here is $700 with utilities. I'm like, this is what I'm saying. But for me, I don't want to move too far away where if something happens with my mom, I have to take a plane. I don't want to worry about that. So, so I'm looking into Pennsylvania, actually, because their cannabis laws are pretty damn good. And a lot of the real estate stuff is pretty good. I don't know about anything else. You live out there, right? So you moved from Jersey to Pennsylvania because Jersey had ridiculous, they weren't paying anybody for stuff for a while too, right?
Say that again?
They weren't paying the disability or unemployment or any of that stuff for people, I thought.
That I don't know. I know that there was a major delay during COVID. Man, I went 4 months with nothing because I ended up getting a lump sum, but I went through every penny of my savings in 4 months trying to make it in Jersey off nothing. So, I didn't stop paying my bills either.
Yeah, which is great.
So that was the other thing. Well, yeah, I was paying my bills and living as if I was still getting income. And that's how I went through my savings. But I wasn't just spending money on shit.
No, but it makes sense. You had to. That's how you float.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I didn't want to take it. People said, oh, during COVID, you didn't have to pay your bills and stuff. I didn't want to take advantage of that because if I got behind, then that money that was coming in eventually from unemployment, I would have went through everything. Yeah. Would have been that all gone to my bills with all late fees and shit. Forget it.
Oh, so did you have trick-or-treaters? Changing the subject?
I wasn't home. I stayed in New Jersey on Saturday. There were a handful of groups in my mother's. It was almost no one, and I felt really bad because she went out specifically to get the big candy bars. She ended up keeping most of them.
I would too.
So it's I think 12 o'clock, people started trick-or-treating. Nobody came by until like 3 o'clock. And then it was like for 2 hours, just a handful of people came.
Wow.
Older
Yeah.
kids. But
Did
yeah, I don't know about here.
Did you dress up?
Al and I dressed up as Bonnie and Clyde. I didn't
Oh
take really
yeah.
any pictures because I was just
Oh.
I was so busy with doing the baking and then
Oh
setting
yeah.
up and all that other stuff. So it wasn't that great anyway.
You're so funny.
Yeah.
Their costume.
Yeah, I was kind of just thrown together.
Yeah. I feel like if I had a boyfriend, I totally wouldn't do like um Mallory Knox, Mick and Mallory Knox. I would, what is it?
Oh,
Mickey and Mallory Knox from Natural Born Killers. It'd be cool. Like if I,
oh my
that
God.
would be a lot of
I
fun.
saw, yes. You got to nail it though. You got to like wear exactly what they're wearing. Their hair and everything.
There's no way I
Um,
can nail it because I don't have her body. So immediately,
you would have to
hey,
wear like
supposed
the
to
same.
be.
Yeah, you would have to like at least wear your hair the same and like the same color attire that she was wearing.
Yeah, I feel like most of her outfits would not be flattering on me. So
Yeah.
I like that's a great idea. I know I thought of it. Let's do something else. Well, you
Aw.
can cosplay in the bedroom, darling. It's fine. That'd be the only way. It's like half the shoes I own. Honey, no, only in the bedroom. I'm not walking in the things.
Some of the heels that I have, I now need help walking around in. Like I can't just. They're like, I'll stand here, but
Yeah.
I can't walk.
Usually,
I'll stand here for like 3 minutes, not even long in them.
none of the bottom of my shoes are dirty at all, except for my sneakers. The rest of them, they're like,
Nope.
I tied them on the bed. They stayed up.
Yeah.
I took them off.
Right.
They were done.
Yeah. Or you just kick them up on the table for show.
There you go.
You're like, I'm gonna take a picture of these. I'm not gonna exactly step in them, but
Yeah, I ain't walking nowhere in any of these. All you have to do is hit like
not
one crack.
anymore.
That's like
I know.
I was doing some background acting for some movie, and we're up on the top of a building in New York City doing some like rooftop party scene, which is exciting until I realized the shoes I'm wearing have stiletto heels, and the rooftop has those where it's squares with the big gaps in between.
Great.
But just one gap where you could fuck yourself up and catch your heel. And I did it once, and I just stopped and looked at everybody. I'm like, round and around and around, and I took my shoe off. They're like, did you just do chitty bang bang music at us? I'm like, oh, welcome. And then I got a really big drink. I was like, fuck. I looked around everywhere. I was like that ridiculous girl. I was like, hold on. I'm coming. I don't want to die on the top of this rooftop. Yo, this is on a rooftop in NYC. I'm a background actress. There's no way I'm important enough to have to die off this building. Nobody's gonna fuck. And I was wearing a bright teal dress, so I looked cute. But it was that moment of like, I regret my shoes completely. Yes, I love teal. Yeah, those shoes, bad choice. I feel like when you're going to do any kind of job where you have to be seen in public, somebody should tell you the layout of the floor. Nobody understands this.
No doubt. That's true.
Right?
Safety issue.
Like one time I had to do a TV show, and I didn't realize that it was going to be in, I think it was like either Brooklyn or the Bronx, which is never a big deal, but until you realize you're parking on some side street and walking a bunch of blocks to get to the location, and you're wearing very high heels going, hello, excuse me, please get out of my way. I'm doing the best I can today. I mean, I was a ridiculous nonsense. I walk into the restaurant, I'm like, hi here. Can I just never get up again? Like, and you can't walk the side streets with no shoes on. Like, it's not the place. So
yeah.
Somebody
trade them out.
Because in a lot of cases,
flats on.
Right, that's what I started doing. I would bring my big like weekend bag and make sure I had shoes change into like as you start doing stuff more, you learn all little tricks. Like you always bring a pair of leggings and hope you remember to keep them in the bag you're going to have with you instead of it's in the car. Remember for my birthday, where's your jacket? It's in the car. Where's your car? 14 miles down the hill.
I brought my jacket though.
Oh, that was
It's
like
just
the
in the
nun
car.
outfit. I was so pissed with myself because I didn't want to carry it. I'm like, lazy bitch syndrome kills you. That was like when I was acting as the nun. By the way, I kept calling myself a priest. Weird moment. I guess just defiance. I don't know, but I'd be like, I know, and I'm looking like this. I'm weird freaking priest. I was like, I mean the nun. I don't like nuns. Anyway, I think it's just a defiance that I can't be a priest, that I can only be a nun. Like no man is like, gee, I can't be a nun. This sucks. Anyway, my own little defiant moments, like whatever. But literally the costume, I wasn't thinking about it because it was so tight on my arms. I only had underwear on under this thing and my shoes. It is 37 degrees. It's outdoors. And there's always a draft. It was so cold. I was so cold. It was worth it. But it was that moment of, once again, I didn't learn. And I didn't have, like, I should put leggings on or I should have, like, gloves or something. I never think about the change into, like, nighttime weather. I just go, it's 67 degrees now. Oh, I'm dressed for it without the, like, hello, in 5 hours, are you going to die? You're going to have toes? You're going to have fingers? Thank God they had, like, a fire pit. And I basically was like, go run an errand that I would need to do and then go back and go, I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm trying not to catch fire. Because the material would get extra hot because it wasn't, like, you know, it was cheap, whatever. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, anybody smell it? That's my costume. There we go. Like,
shit.
But, like, those are the moments where, like, forever on, I will make sure in my weekend big bag, whatever you call it, I will have some kind of bottoms where I can go, excuse me, everyone, I just have to put these on. Oh, okay, much better. Like, I didn't even have a jacket, so I had to drive all the way home. The first thing that happens is I walk into the house and put the tea kettle on. I'm not usually like, oh, I'll have a spot of tea. I was just like, no talking, just tea. I just stood there with the cup going, thank you, God, I'm alive. It's cool. My thighs will be back tomorrow. It took me, I was hobbling for like 3 or 4 days, too, because, like, how much walking back and forth I was doing. None of it's a complaint. It's just that, you know, like after a factory, you're going, should have thought, like, maybe I should have done some stretches, do some light walking a few days before to get, like, conditioned for it. No, I did, like, 15 days sitting in this freaking chair. Then all of a sudden, 14 miles in freezing water. Whatever it was, because it was so much back and forth. And it was a big, beautiful place and whatever. And I'm not complaining about helping, doing anything. It was just the thought of, like, she had seen me. I was an ogre the next day. I was just like,
I would have just laid in the hot shower, like,
even afterwards, because, like, the bottom of my feet felt like they were swollen. I was just like, I felt like so fat, so pudgy, so yucky. It was just like, like, you know, it didn't really affect my emotional well-being, thank God. But it was that, like, weirdly, the top half of me didn't feel exhausted. The lower half of me was just like,
roller skates next time.
Oh, God. I almost killed myself once. I went ice skating once on a date when I was young. And I slipped and caught my date. But I caught my date here while he was wearing a necklace that was a moon and a star. Swear to God, I embedded the thing into his chest so that he was bleeding. Because when I slipped, I went like, bam, hit him here, thinking I was catching him. But it embedded because it was thin metal. So there he was bleeding. And then my mom took me home. My mom took me home. I was young.
How was your date, honey?
She was there for it. She actually didn't leave. She just waited in the background because she knew it was coming, in my opinion. Because I couldn't ice skate in the first place, so I was terrified. And, like, then it's a first date with some random person I think I got set up with on a date, and I was just trying to be good about it. Plus, it's, like, high school days, so, like, everything. And then just, whoa, next day at school. So you tried to kill a man on the ice?
Yeah.
I was like,
no, he tried to kill me, I swear.
There was, like, somebody there because they heard about the date, so there was, like, a spy who by the time I went to school the next day and told I got people constantly were trying to, like, pull stuff on me back in the day, or did, and I was just like, truth will come out someday. I'll cry about it a lot, but people are like, oh, I'm not going near her. She stabs people. I'm like,
oh, for God's sakes. I like, really believe that shit. Come on.
They did. Everybody always believes bad shit about me because they'd rather do that than I could be right. Anyway, the amount of times people were like, oh, I thought this happened. Oh, I believe that happened. Whatever. But
did the kid say it was just...
No, he didn't even go to that fucking school, which is the problem. So there was nobody to even be. Plus, there's no way to have any good spin on I fell and slammed his necklace and stabbed him so he's bleeding and have it could be good PR for me. I mean, my friends were like, you know, badasses in the first place. So I got like fist bumped and stuff. Like, yeah, bro. I was like, oh, bad news, bro. You know, that kind of stuff. But like dating wise, it was like, a lot of stories always started about me, and it was always stuff like, I couldn't do that again if you paid me. The sheer fucking dumb luck of falling, and it was one of those thin, like little. It wasn't like it was this ornate where it was like I grabbed it and stabbed him. It was like, how? My mom was even like, she was trying to like relay the story. She's like, no, not on purpose. I swear to God, that's why I was standing there. I watched it. Like the other mom was about to like go in on it. She's like, we both saw it. Like, let's not play here. Like,
oh my God.
And I haven't ice skated since. Like, nope. I stabbed a man with his own necklace on an ice skating rink.
Oh.
Story if it was like on purpose, not like I thought I was being cute and I was like dying and killed. All of my awful. Another time I was just joking with a boyfriend I had at the time, and he had one of those like black leather jackets with all the spikes, you know, the metal spikes, and he had sharpened all of them because that's who he was. And
what the hell?
I always ran with those. I mean, we had like barbed wire bats before even anybody understood that like they were a thing. That's why I was always like, I had that already. We were a rowdy kind of group in the streets, but like, so here I am dating this guy, and I went to say something, and I always do that. Like, I would shut up, where I'll like just tap him on the shoulder, you know, like, oh fuck off, shut up, whatever. So I did that and impaled my hand on all of the spikes. I got my hand stuck, so we had to be like, so my hand's bleeding. And he's afraid I'm about to lose my mind and get mad. Instead, I look at him, and I go, stigmata.
Good cover.
Right?
Like,
but I did. After that, I just looked at him and started doing like the bait. I was just like, I'm like, boo boo. Like he took the jacket off, he took all the spikes off, he's like, fuck this, I'm never doing that to her again. He was totally
well,
sweet
at least
about
that
it.
was sweet of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same dude that disappeared and I had to call morgues on him, but that moment was nice. Especially, technically, it's not nice. He was removing the evidence. Let's be quite clear. He removed the evidence so that if anybody was like, what happened? I could be like, Paul did. I'd be like, what spikes are you talking about? It wasn't as sweet as more like, this could get me caught. I'll put these down a sewer drain. He really did. That's what he did with them. But it's funny because like for weeks I had like all these points that were all like healing. So I'd be like, stigmata, and people were like, fuck her, like she's crazy. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Stop messing with me and I'll stop being this scary. Now you want to fuck with the
I mean, that would just be I would just find it hard to be able to manage well with them sharpened on your shoulder. Like I'd like hit my ear or something and it'd be it.
It's good for fighting. If you get into fights, then you don't have to worry about it. You can just smash their faces in it. You don't have to worry about them trying to grab you. It's all just strategic. Damn. Believe me. I mean, I also, most of my friends had like where you'd hit the shoe and the knife would come out, or like
oh damn,
there was tons of stuff, or like the canes that have the swords in them or the knives in them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of stuff. I had friends that had, or still do probably, rings where if you put two of them, you have a garrote where you'd kill somebody with it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I mean, there's tons of stuff, man. Everything. I had friends that had massive, beautiful dreads and all this stuff. And literally inside, just like in the movies, you just pull it out and there it is because nobody would check inside the dreads and stuff. Wherever you could go with.
When I went away on vacation. When I went on vacation, I had to take mine out. She's like, shake your dreads. I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that, but thank you for telling me. Now I may do something like that.
Well, it's because all of us who learned all the tricks are now adults enough to run these things and don't want anybody to pull it on us. So you take extra methods, like all the fake ID stuff, how much they've gone up the line, like back in the day.
What? Oh, I know, it's so freaking easy.
Oh my God. I mean, I never even needed one. I would go to like CBGB and things like that when I was like 11, 12, 13, and they would just let me in. I'd be drinking and stuff like that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I didn't really need one either, but I mean, they were starting to get
Yeah, by the
smart.
time, yeah.
By
Yeah.
the time I was, a little bit into my 20s, they were starting to get really smart about it.
Well, they had to because we were all, I mean, that's the same thing with like, we're kind of in the issues we're in because we were so smart that like all the reasonings they put all these extra strategic shit in the money is another reason. The amount of people I would watch like making money that looked legit, and now all the stages that move up because like it's like that movie Catch Me If You Can. He literally got
Yeah.
hired by the government because he was so good at like being who he was that he's now like, oh, he's doing that because I'm this, you know. So one
Yeah.
of the reasons we're so many steps above now, like you can't hack the same way you could hack back in the day. Like, no way. It was easy back in the day versus now. I mean, I don't even bother. I leave that game to somebody else that wants to play. Like, not only is there nothing I even want to try to hack, because like this, I'm not endangering my people that way. But more than anything else, all the
That's true.
extra steps, you know, but it's the same thing, like the fake IDs and everything else. It's like we're moving up in the line that, you know, it's fascinating how some of that stuff has moved up though, you know?
Yeah. Now that, like, before you knew it, now you had to get your license scanned as you go into a club or a bar. I was like, damn.
Well, now there's a spot in at least the New York one. I don't know about you, but where there's like almost like a hologram sketch cleared out of the person's face, and that gets scanned. It's in the license itself. So like,
Oh, damn.
there's like actually there's like 4 or 5 things within the one license that at least 3 or 4 of them are way too hard to duplicate, in my opinion. I mean, sure, somebody out there has to be able to, because you know there's masterminds. That's why there's great movies about those topics. But
Right.
I pulled out of all that stuff a very long time ago. I was like, once my nieces were born, I didn't want to know anything about any of those worlds. I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm going to try to figure out how to fix this planet because y'all grew up. You're healthy. One of the reasons I even hung out in any of those groups is there were always children that were get left behind in a way. There was, you know, I was a small child seeing small children, you know, being forgotten about, dirty diapers, all sorts of stuff where it was like, that kid's not been washed in days. That kid hasn't had a diaper change. That kid probably hasn't eaten. That kid, like, so I would start just hanging out in all these different awful places, awful in a way, you know, because of that, and then would make friends with so many people that like they all became my people, where it was like I need them all to succeed. I'll try to help them out as best I can, whether it was taxi for some, you know how many times I would sober up 2 or 3 hours ahead of schedule because I knew I would have to start playing like sober taxi for bars. Just because I wouldn't
God.
want, I mean, I would like start drinking from, let's say, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, stop by 11 p.m., sober up by 12, because I start real teetotaling. I would see the clock. I was like, all right, 10 now. I'm going to back it up. I'm just going to look like regular soda. And that way I was completely sober and safe and start driving everybody else around because there was no freaking way I wanted people to have accidents. In high school, I lost like 8 people in one car accident because 2 of my friends, cars full, smashed into each other. So like I'm well aware of how easy that stuff is. So between making sure people weren't ODing, other people were like passing classes, doing the stuff they need to do, driving people around. I think that's why I almost died, was I made myself so sick, splitting my time up so much that I wasn't focusing at all on my own life. And I couldn't care what was being said about me. I had all sorts of stuff being said. And I was like, I don't care. These kids are alive. Those people are alive. That person didn't shoot that person. That person didn't snip that person. Everybody got home. I'm going to bed, and then you get a phone call. All right, putting my shoes on. Where are you tonight? Okay. You know, and that's how I spent like 15, 20 years of my life. So I have crazy fucked up stories. It's very hard to like hang out with people where you're like, all right, what's going on behind you? Okay, because of the life I've lived where you understand it and you accommodate, where most people are like, this bitch is like, this bitch is a lot. You know, like, I don't mean it that way.
Well, because, like, well, from my point of view, I never had to worry about anything like that. So I wouldn't even know what you'd be looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I could see the contrast. And by the way, the fucking movie I was trying to say before, super bad.
There it is. I knew you'd remember it. That's why I waited. Just change the subject. You got to let it flow. It's locked up. No, you're good. Super bad. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to watch that movie again. So, I like the line. What was it? Dude, where's my car? Where it's like, and then, no, and then, and then,
oh, yeah.
no, and then,
no, and then.
I do that to my mom all the time.
And then,
and then. And she doesn't know what I'm doing at first. because it's not her kind of movie. And then all of a sudden I'm like,
Yeah.
no, and then, and she's just like, because then she realized.
I saw a picture of your mother on Facebook. You put a picture of her.
Oh yeah, it was her
Not
birthday.
nothing I like pictured in my head. Not that like I even knew what to even think, but she looks like she's of Spanish descent.
I know, right?
Are you Spanish?
No, everyone always thought so, especially when I was like dating one of my exes in high school because he's Spanish. So I actually, on one of the parties we had to go to, I had like, it was a formal updo and I had done all these curls. Everyone's like, "Ay, señorita." I was like, oh fuck. Like people always think I am. I'm half Sicilian and then Irish, Scottish, and English. So my dad is Irish, Scottish, and English. Yeah, and my mom is full Sicilian. So,
yeah, you could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell.
Yeah, and it was Mother's Day in that picture, and it was probably one of the only pictures she's let me take in like forever years. So, and it was one of those like, I need a picture. And she was just more like placating me, but I'm not gonna not have pictures of her. That's not okay.
Yeah, of course. She's dumb.
Right. It's funny though, because like she doesn't, and people don't like think that's what she's gonna look like for real. Like it happens all the time.
No, and because you're taller, she's shorter than you, right?
Yeah, well now she's is. Yeah. She's
I don't know. In that picture, it looked like she was smaller than you.
Well, she is. She was in that picture too. One, I was wearing heels, but two, as she's gotten older, she's shrunk. She also won against breast cancer. Woo! But doing all of that will cause you to unfortunately shrink as well. It's not a joke. It's a real thing. So she used to be 5'7.5". She was always saying it, and I was 5'6", and now she's 5'4". Like
whoa, that's
huge. And at first I thought I was just way too high one day because I had come upstairs and we don't usually like stand so close that you could notice, you know, even if we do hugs, it's usually like a side hug or whatever it is. Cause we're always doing something, whatever the fuck. So it was just one of those moments where like, all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. I felt like a giant. It was one of those where you like feel like, you know, you're doing a certain drug and you're looking down like, oh, and I was like, she's like, no. I shrunk again. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I looked at her.
Shit.
I was like about to tell you, I haven't been drinking, but I think I might be drunk. She's like, no. I just came from the doctor the other day and they measured me and yes, I'm much shorter. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what else to do except say, okay. Like, what do you do except move right along past that? But, you know, it's just funny. So, and now, because that picture was kind of before a lot of the stuff, so now she's even shorter. So it's so funny. But knock on wood, you know, she's completely clear of all of it. She's healthy. She's doing good again. Hallelujah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, and her birthday was on the 29th. So, you know,
happy birthday.
Right? Woot woot. Say it's your birthday. And mine was October 11th. So October is a good month between those three. It's pretty cool.
Yay.
So then we're going to have Thanksgiving come up and we don't have the Macy's Day Parade. They canceled it. I'm still sad. So on Thanksgiving, I'm going to try to share last year's Thanksgiving Parade on my Facebook, Loren Molloy page and many of those so we can kind of enjoy that. Next Tuesday, we're going to be back, me and Jess, with another episode of Delve In. But please feel free to go to the Delve In Facebook page and message us or comment what topics you'd like us to talk about. We'll talk about anything, everything, anything spiritual and more. But we're here to talk about the topics because silence isn't golden, it's deadly. And we all got stuff in common. So we got to bond together because it takes a village to heal this planet. And all of us people on this planet is the village. So we all got issues. We all got stuff going on. We all got trials and tribulations, as they say. Hallelujah. I can't help myself. But you got to laugh about it too. And that's why I make jokes without trying to be like disrespectful in any way. Please don't think you guys are alone. Please don't think it's just you. Things you're going through, other people are going through too. If you're having a problem, if you're worrying about tapping out on this planet, please contact me or contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline or any of those. Find somebody to connect with, talk with, and realize it's not you It's just stuff going on in your world. You can fix it. You can heal it. You can find a way to deal with it, just like we all do, but it's not just you. So on that note, from both of us to you, we love you.
Bye.
Stay safe. And please, if you need help and you're struggling, reach out to a suicide prevention hotline or me, and we could talk about it, no judgment. But you matter, you're important, and this planet needs you. So don't lose yourself and don't lose your time on this planet. Till next time, bye.